Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Crawl TV. It's been a little while since I made a video. I apologize for that. I've been super busy, but today we're going to be working on Cream Puff and I want to update you guys on all the stuff we've done to this Jeep to make it Rubicon ready. We have a couple things left on our list that we're going to be working on today, so I'll show you that, but I also want to give you a quick tour around this Jeep, show you some of the other stuff that we've already accomplished off camera. We've had a couple weekends out here that have been kind of crazy hectic, and I did not get the opportunity to film any of it, but we did make progress on this already. And so I'm gonna get you guys all up to speed on what has happened, and then we'll start working on this thing again. I think after tonight, depending on how much we're able to get done, this thing should be 100% ready to go. So then we just have White Lightning YJ, and we have a big update on that Jeep, and it's kind of unfortunate, so you'll have to stay tuned for that. And then we have Split Decision CJ5. Where the heck is that Jeep at? It's not on the ranch anymore. Paul has it at his shop, and he's apparently working on it, but I kind of don't believe it. So I kind of want your guys' input. Do you think that's going to be ready for the Rubicon Trail or not? Because Paul, if you're watching this, I totally don't believe that you're going to have that Jeep ready. So anyways, let's do a quick walk around of Cream Puff. I'll show you guys what we've done, and then we'll get to work on this thing. All right, so Cream Puff. It has had some big changes. In the last video, we put the soft top on it, and what else did we do? We just introduced the PRP seats, harnesses, the Lil Mama tow rope, and told you guys that we would be back with an update on this once we got some more work done. Well, since then, Luke and I spent a couple days fabricating tabs, putting in little arms, and clearing out the rear wheel tubs here to put these seats as far back as possible so that we could get these PRP Premier seats installed. Now these are the in-stock seats that PRP offers, and what that means is that you don't have to wait for a custom seat order. The seats that are currently in the high school Jeep took me like 8 weeks to receive because it was custom ordered, double stitched, custom colors, custom materials, and a lot of times you just don't have the time to wait for stuff like that. And this is one of those cases. We wanted to get PRP seats in these Jeeps. We knew that our timeline was really short, and we were able to pick these up from PRP's inventory at their store. We didn't have to wait at all. So that was really awesome. With these PRP seats, we got these 4.3 harnesses. These are the old school like metal latch ones. They're not the buckles like I have that are like more of an automotive buckle. So that kind of fits the Cream Puff vibe because this is a 1958 Jeep. But in order to get these installed, we also had to weld in this harness bar in the back. Now we used square tubing for this because square tubing is what we had. But it actually turned out really cool and it looks super good in this Jeep. And we're going to be taking the spare tire out because this is all of Luke's storage space for the Rubicon. So his clothes, food, drinks, camping gear, everything has to fit in this like 2 foot by 2 foot box here. So spare tire's got to come out. But that's where we're at with Cream Puff. The other thing that we did is we welded in these really sweet mufflers. Luke had these MagnaFlow cans kind of floating around in his garage, and they ended up out here at the ranch. He wanted to throw them on Cream Puff, but they were way too long. The pipes were too big. So we just spent an afternoon and we shortened them and we got them fit right. And we got the sides to match more or less. There's some exhaust leaks that we're really not worried about, but we got the mufflers installed so that they don't leak. The exhaust leaks are up at the headers and stuff. So that pretty much catches you up with where we're at on Cream Puff. Now, what are the problems that we have with Cream Puff right now?
Right now, we're running the 35s. I really like them, so I don't think we're going to get rid of them for the Rubicon. And we did some tests after we got the seats in, after I was feeling a little bit more confident and planted to this thing. It did really well. And I think the little memento I told myself was if it was going to pop an axle on this rock climb that Jarrett has in his yard, it's probably not going to be good enough for the Rubicon. I still have time to fix it up. But it made it up. It had no qualms other than burning clutch a little bit and being at a weird angle. I got some lifter tick, which over top off the oil, and I'm sure we'll be okay for the Rubicon.
Yeah.
But I have some 1/4-inch spacers that'll go on each of the corners. Hopefully that gives me a little bit more clearance than what I'm working with right now. The front is rubbing the Bilstein body of the shock and then also the front frame rail. Not too bad. I still got pretty good turning radius, so just a little bit more offset without putting too much more stress on that Dana 25, and I think we'll be okay for the Rubicon. The back of the tub we clearanced out in kind of during that same time frame, getting the PRPs in, and I think we did a pretty good job, even though we were using a sledgehammer on it.
It was Western for sure. We were just beating on the Jeep, but it creased the tub ever so perfectly that it looks good.
It looks like somebody Frenched it in there. We're happy.
On the driver's side, we actually did cut and weld because there was a channel that was blocking the seat from moving all the way back. So we did have to cut and weld on the tub on that side. On the passenger side, though, we just hammered away. Yeah. And it worked great.
If you're putting aftermarket seats in one of these things, I highly recommend using a sledgehammer rather than doing the notch method, unless you're an extremely good fabricator, because it just starts to look odd at a certain point when you're putting these step notches in the back of it. You know, we were able to angle it really nicely on the passenger side by just
it kind of rides the wave.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
if the tire hits it, it's not going to be like some sharp edge also.
Yeah. And if you're above 5'8", I don't recommend an early CJ5. There's not much room in them.
Yeah.
I'm 5'8", so it's perfect.
So that catches you guys up on where we're at with this Jeep. Now, Luke mentioned we're going to be putting wheel spacers on it. That's going to pop these wheels out just a little bit. Since that does shorten the lug nut length, Luke also picked up some ET lug nuts, which are lug nuts that have kind of an inner sleeve. So you can grab more threads. And hopefully the drills that are in the wheels are wide enough to accept these. But this is what they look like. ET phone home. So this piece actually goes into the wheel so that you have more thread engagement so that you don't have one of your tires pop off on you on the trail. And the other thing that we're going to be doing is Luke has only been riding on rear brakes this whole time since he bought the Jeep, just rear brakes. And we're going to try and fix that. So he got a new master cylinder. We're going to put that in. We're going to bench bleed the master cylinder, put it in, and then try and push some fluid through these front brake lines. I have an air compressor right here too, so we might try and force some air through the lines, make sure that they're clear. And we're going to try and get everything hooked up. He's got disc brakes in the front, so it would be really cool to not have to put like your whole body weight into the brake pedal to get this thing to stop.
The PRPs have helped so much with that. Before the seat backs would kind of push back, and it was like, I don't know if I'm going to have enough brake, but like since putting those in, you have so much more control over the pedals and everything. It's pretty phenomenal.
Yeah, and you're so locked in that you can do some crazy stuff that, honestly, I didn't think Cream Puff was going to be able to do that rock climb that Luke did in this thing, and it did it. Once again, the lifter tick was getting more and more violent. So that's where we're at right now. We're going to get started, and you want to start with the tires and get these spacers on?
I think so.
I feel like that's an easy starting thing. Get it out of the way, easy one to knock out, and then we can see if we want to address the brakes tonight.
Yeah, and we'll see how much clearance we get.
Oh, and also, Luke has a guy coming out tonight to buy the hardtop. So that beloved Koenig hardtop, it's going away forever. But Cream Puff looks very natural with this bikini top. The buttons were already on this thing. It was built to have a bikini top.
Yeah, it feels right. I was really apprehensive to do the soft top because I had never seen one of these with a hard top like that style of the Koenig one before, and I was excited about it. But this thing in its current form right now gives off the vibes that I was looking for.
Yeah, and it's way less top heavy, which is good because he's got these giant tires on it. So
I love the Walker Evans. I'm not going away from him.
So that's where we're at. We're going to get started. Let's do it.
Things I'm excited about, just getting rid of these spline nuts that have had their day in the sun. They're getting about ready to strip, I'd say. And those ET lug nuts that I got are 6-point, so I think that they're going to be a little bit more solid, easier to deal with. No more key.
There you go, man. She's fixed.
Thanks, man. That's going to fix all my problems. Look how different it looks.
I'm going to be honest, man. It looks exactly the same.
It does look exactly the same, but if you look at where it was rubbing, which is like the top of the Bilstein shock and the bottom of the fender brace, there's like a brace that goes in the inner part of this. It is only scrubbing a little bit.
Hey, man, your nuts dropped.
Finally. A little bit.
Let's turn it and see if you've gained anything.
Okay, let's see.
You can see where it was rubbing.
So we're about maxed out there. All right, so what we just did is we put 2 1/4-inch spacers on the front end of this thing. I'm not gonna say it's like a world of a difference, but I definitely have more turning radius. I'm not crunching the top of the fender when I completely flex out, which I'm happy about. And another thing that we did was we did punch in those tubs like we talked about earlier in the video. So the Jeep is starting to work better and better, and the leaf springs are actually able to articulate without interfering with the body. So I'm happy on that front. Now what we're going to do is we're going to try and put those 1/4-inch spacers on the back on a lot of these early CJs and also Willys CJ2As and M38 A1s. You're going to find that the driver's side is reverse threaded. This one's been converted on the front. The back has not been converted yet. So I've got a different type of lug nut that I'm hopeful we'll be able to get these 1/4-inch spacers on, but that's the crapshoot that we're going to deal with right now and see what it looks like.
Hey, man, you got that drill in reverse.
What are you talking about? I gotta zip these babies on. That was pretty good. That was pretty good too.
I think you're okay.
Yeah, like, I'm not... If we were doing a road trip where Jarrett and I were like, let's go 900 miles somewhere and take the Jeeps and ride it on the road, I would take those off.
Yeah.
Wouldn't be flexing.
Yeah.
But for the Rubicon, I'm gonna rock them.
Yeah.
I'm happy.
So the problem with this one wheel is that the lug nuts are reverse thread. So Luke bought new ET style lug nuts which have more thread engagement because they're being pushed out farther, but we can't use those lug nuts on this wheel because they're not left-hand thread. So he's got 3 right-hand thread wheels and 1 left-hand, and that wheel has to use the lug nuts that were on it. So it's grabbing a lot fewer threads now that there's a 1/4-inch spacer in that wheel. So that's what Luke is talking about. It'll be fine for the Rubicon, hopefully, maybe.
I'm not crazy. I'm not talking about left-hand normal lug nuts. It's just how it goes, you know?
Yeah.
It's part of the game.
Yeah.
You get an old Jeep, there's weird stuff.
Yeah, lots of weird stuff. Man.
Get your Easter eggs.
So it's dark out now. You can't see us, but we just got Luke's hardtop loaded on top of a Subaru station wagon. And if you've never seen a Jeep hardtop on top of a station wagon, it's wacky. And they tied it down with a rope. They're going down a very windy road to get home, and also down 4 miles of my dirt road. So that should be really interesting. I hope they make it.
You guys want a little hardtop lore? So I purchased Paul's Jeep with a Meyer hardtop and doors, which is a pretty nice, seems like a common one for CJ5s. I got $1,200 for that. The Koenig one, which is on early CJ5s, is pretty, like, I've never seen one before, and it was one of the reasons... Later!
See you guys!
It was one of the reasons I actually purchased Cream Puff, was because it looked different. I got $250 for that and a bottle of wine, but the bottle of wine made it all worth it.
We got you can't see us at all, but we got a bottle of wine with the purchase, so heck yeah.
Just in case you're selling a hardtop, though. There's your lore.
Yep, the Koenig hardtops are not worth what they look like they're worth. So, good to know. Well, we got 1 wheel spacer left to add. We're doing it in the dark, and I got my flashlight on Luke now, but yeah, that was really funny. They pulled up in that car and I was like, what the heck are we gonna do here? How are we possibly gonna put a Jeep hardtop on top of this car?
I'm not one to say no to a deal, so whatever you show up in, we're gonna try and get it on there. It's the art of the deal. You pay me, you take it.
Now, the most important part now that we have spacers on all 4 wheels, is the flex test. So we're doing this at night, and you can see those Baja Designs Soltex, the original halogens. They're pretty powerful lights. It's the original Baja 1000 lights right there. So Luke's gonna drive into this ditch, and we're just gonna see just how much flex he has gained by adding a 1/4 inch on all 4 corners. All right, guys, well, that does it for this video. It's dark out now. It's a school night. We both have to work tomorrow, so we're gonna call it. We're not gonna work on the brakes tonight, but we got wheel spacers on all 4 corners of Cream Puff. We got the people updated with new MagnaFlow exhaust. What else did we do?
We got those PRP seats in. We got the square tube harness bar.
Yeah, that was a big job getting those PRPs in.
Yeah.
And it completely changed that Jeep. So really excited about that, and really thankful to have that done and ready for the Rubicon Trail. So after flex testing it, what'd you think? You got a little more flex out of it?
Yeah, I did 1/4 inch spacers. They were pretty small, but that 1/4 inch is going to help me tremendously. Just driving around the ranch, I was able to get a little bit more turning radius. I was able to get more flex. I think the seats ultimately made me feel more confident, but this is just making it a little bit more cushy.
Yeah.
I'm happy.
Yeah, so we will get the brakes wrapped up, and then Cream Puff can be checked off the list as Rubicon ready. My Jeep, like I mentioned, is up in Julian right now getting a roll cage welded in it. I have to follow up and figure out what the timeline is for that, because if it can't get done, oh well, not a big deal. I'll just go get it. And then as far as my Jeep goes, I have a new steering box. If I have time, I'll throw the new steering box in it. The only thing I really want to do is run 12 volts to the back of it so that I can take the refrigerator with us. And
I can help you with that.
Otherwise, yeah, he's good at kosher wiring, so we'll get that knocked out, no problem. But otherwise, I'm ready to go. And then Jack is...
He's close.
He's very close.
You haven't announced the vehicle yet, right?
I haven't announced that, so we're going to save that for another video. But White Lightning YJ is not going to make it, so we have a contingency plan in place, and Jack is fully committed and ready to go. So we're really glad that Jack's fully on board. And then Paul, he's kind of the loose cannon of the group.
Oh my gosh, comment below what you think is going to happen with him, because we're just beyond curious.
Yeah, I want to know what the viewers think, because Paul is, I don't know what I think at this point.
Oh, I don't either. I have no idea what he's going to do.
And then
he's got a lot of life stuff outside of this Jeep thing going on too. So
yeah, he does. And he works on weekends. So, and then the last Jeep in the list is Midnight City, who you guys haven't seen since TDS, but Midnight City hasn't really changed. Chris is just going to run that Jeep the way it is, and it did so well at TDS that I think he'll be fine on the Rubicon Trail.
Yeah, I think the only thing that is the wild card for him will be he's got open diffs right now, which I think Chris could manage the Rubicon in that Jeep with open diffs, but you might see that thing with some lunchbox lockers or something else.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
We'll see what Chris does. I don't know if he's cutting out any time for that, but that does it for this video, you guys. Yeah. So I will try and pump out a couple more videos here in the next week or two and get you guys all caught up with everything that we're doing. There's a lot going on, and this is crunch time for the Rubicon Trail. So I'm glad that we have nights like this where we're just working until 9 p.m., getting done what we can, and just keeping that momentum going. So we'll catch you guys on the next video right here on Crawl TV.
One takeaway. You want to do space travel, it's PRP seats. You'll feel so locked in.
Yep. It's mind-blowing. PRP Seats has seats in stock. So go get them if you need them. See you guys later.
Later.